Hello guys, and welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video I'll show you guys how to make this bustier top. So you can see at the end of the day this was what I came up with. It was really fine, nice. And then the fabric I use is about 1 yard of fabric. So first we have our pattern paper here. So that first line is our shoulder line, and then we have our bust point line. So we are using an off shoulder pattern. You can see I placed my tape. That's our bust line, our under bust, and our waist. So I use 6 inches to do the drop of the off shoulder. So for this off shoulder blouse, the next thing we are going to do now, we want to mark our shoulder measurement. So this is the back pattern I'm doing. So for this, I'm going to just reduce 1 inch from my back, from my shoulder measurement, and then I'll place the measurement here. So, and then from that point like that, you can see I place my tape. I'm using about 5 inches or 6 inches to do the drop. So from that point, I'm going to mark, come to that part, and then I'll connect it for my armhole line. So you place your tape and then you still mark everything along that way, and then I'll curve out the armhole like that. Okay, so after creating the curve for my armhole, the next thing I want to do now, I want to take out my dart. So for all of the darts, so these are the measurements on the screen that I'm making use of. So I'll come to these points like this. I'll mark my dart. So for the dart, I'm using about 4.5 inches. So I'll mark it across and then connect it with a straight ruler. So for the dart, I'll take out 1 inch for the dart. So I'll come to the center and then take half of an inch to the right and then half of an inch to the left. So you can see I am connecting the dart now. So that is what I'm doing. So this is, like I said, this is my back pattern. And then after connecting it that way, I'm going to take out my full body's measurement. So I'll divide my bust circumference by 4. I'll add my stitching allowance. Okay, and then the next thing, I'll come to my under bust line. So I'll divide the under bust circumference also by 4. So at that point, I'm just trying to bend my tape, okay, to bend my tape and then get it in like that. So I'll divide that and then I will add the stitching allowance. After that, I'm going to do the one for the waist, which is the last one down there. So I'll divide my waist measurement. So use your own applicable measurement. So that was why I just added all of the measurement on the screen so that you can see them. Okay, so after that, I'm going to mark my neckline. So this neckline, I'm not going to use this, so I'm just using it since I'm teaching. So I'll use about 3 inches by 3 inches. So you can see the way I place my tape. So when you are doing that, make sure you place your tape in such a way that that 6 inches that you use to drop your shoulder, always include it whenever you are taking any of the vertical measurements. Okay, so after that, I'm going to bend it that way. So I'll just mark it. So so after everything, I'm just going to cut out everything now, so you can see how easy it is. So this is my back pattern. So the next thing, we're going to add all of our lines again, and then we're going to do the front pattern. So for the front pattern, I'll come to that line again, which is my shoulder line. So since it is an off shoulder, you minus 1 inch from your shoulder measurement. You can see the way I place the tape. I use 6 inches to do the drop of the off shoulder. So always put that into consideration. So from that point, you can see when you place the tape like that, I would now take my armhole circumference. That's the round of my armhole, which is 8, and then I'll connect it this way. So you can see the way I'm connecting it, and then create a curve. So after creating the curve, that's for my armhole. So if you notice, the armhole is not full, and then on these lines again, I'll take all my dart lines. So that dart lines, you can see I extended it to the top, to the shoulder line. I'm going to mark it. I'll just connect it straight like that with a straight ruler. Unlike the back pattern, it did not get to the top. Okay, so from this part, I'll take out 2 inches now for this side. Now for the dart, I took 1 inch to the right and then another 1 inch to the left hand side. So you can see from the under bust, I'll connect it to the bust circumference, that's to the bust line, sorry. And then from the center one also, I'll connect it that way. So you can see, can you see the way I'm connecting them? So when I finish that, after connecting them from the under bust line, I will bring the dart legs. I'll just draw the dart leg I'll draw it down like this. After drawing it down this way, the next thing I'm going to do now, that I'll take it to the top part. So from that part I'm going to come to this right hand side. I'll take 1 inch to the right and then 1 inch to the left also. You can see the way I'm connecting it from the bust line now. I'll connect it, let it meet that top on that neck side. That's on the shoulder line that I took out. So from this side also, I'm going to mark it out. Okay, so the next thing now, I want to take how deep that front part of my neckline will be. So you can see the way I still place my tape. I used 6 inches. I placed it and then dropped it up to like about 9 inches thereabout, and then just connect that curve to that part like that. Okay, so if you don't understand that part, just watch it again, you understand. So you can see I placed the tape like that, and then you can make it deeper if you want a plunging neckline, depends on what you want. So from this point now, we're going to take out our full body measurement. So you place your tape like this and then you mark your shoulder measurement, you mark it like that. So at this point, you since you have taken out that first shoulder measurement you measure is not going to be valid again, because you take out your that. Okay, so you now take the new one, curve it, and then on that line now, that bust line, you take your bust circumference, you divide by 4. That's divide your bust measurement into 4, you mark it like that, and then you come to the under bust line, you divide your under bust measurement into 4. So and then you place your that back and then place your stitching allowance, so you connect it that way, and then you come to the waistline like this, you connect it, and then you mark it. So and then you mark it this way, and then you just like connect it this way. Okay, so after everything, the next thing you are going to do now, so these are our patterns. The next thing, I will transfer them to the fabric. So this is the fabric I'm going to be using. It's about 1.5 yard of damask, so that's what we'll use. After transferring everything, this is what we have. So you have my lining, and then I have my piece. So most times what I normally do, I'll sew my lining and check. So please don't forget to subscribe, and if you have not liked my video, please like my video. Okay, and then now we're going to start stitching. So first I'm going to start with the back pattern to stitch the back. So I'm joining the back now. That's the one side of the back. So if you notice, this is the full back. That's, I've not opened it on that zip allowance part. Most times I don't like opening it. After everything, I'll now open it and just shape it the way I want to shape it. Okay, so at this point I just I'm joining it together. That's, I'm joining the side to the side of the back, and then this is the second one also. I'm joining it together like this. Okay, so after joining it together, the next thing, I am going to cut open that zip allowance part now. So I'll cut that open like that. But since it's a short dress, so I'm not really bothered about zipper budge, because it will not have a budge because it's a short bodice. Okay, so after this now, I'm going to join the front. So that's the center front and the side of the front together. So I'll just take it, I'll start stitching from the top. I don't stitch from the down. There are some patterns that you can stitch from down. If it is a longer bodice, I'll stitch from down, but since this is a short bodice, I'll stitch it from the top. So it will help me to arrange and make sure that my cup, it comes out nicely. After doing that, I'm going to do the other part. So you can see I'm curving it out nicely like this. So after that, I'm curving it nicely, so you can see how the front pattern looks like. It looks good, and then this is our back piece. Okay, so the next thing I am going to do now, I want to shape out our patterns. So let's shape it out. That's shape out our neckline. You notice the neckline I added, I did not add it. That's on my pattern. I did not add that neckline. So the first thing, I'm going to pin the dart to make sure that the darts, they align. So pin the darts together to make sure that they are staying on the same point, and then place the front pattern like this. Okay, so you can see, since we use 6 inches, so you can see, so I want my neckline to be deep at up to like 8 or 9 thereabouts. So I'll just come down that way, at that point. So when I come down, I'll just curve it. It is a bust here, so I just want to create a small, like a small sweetheart neckline at that point, just like I did on the pattern. So now I'm just using freehand to do it on the pattern this way. So like I said, please, if you have not liked my video, please like this video. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate that. So I'll curve that. So I'm still checking. You can see the way I place my tape, making sure that all of the points are okay, they are aligned properly. So I'll just take that neckline, I'll just curve it into that part, let it blend to like the top part of the neckline, that way. Okay, so that's to the armhole area, that way. So that is what I am trying to do at this point now. So for the back, I came down from the front neckline. I just dropped it by like 1 inch. So that's the back neckline. So you can see I just used the front neckline as guide, just marked it. And then for the back is going to be straight, so I don't need any neckline. So you can see what I just did. I just marked it down and then connected it. And then you can see what I was trying to see. You see it is like 1 inch longer than the front neckline. Okay, so after that, now what I'm going to do, I'll just curve this out like this, and then you can see. So this is my back pattern, all nicely made. And then the next thing now I am going to do, I'll mark out the front pattern. So I'm just trying to pin it nicely again, and then I'll curve out the neckline like that. That's for the front neckline. So after curving out the front neckline, I'll open it up to check it, to make sure that it is okay. It is good. It's fine. It looks good. So I think what I have is okay. And then the next thing, I am trying to shape that curve that we have on that tummy area. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I just came to the under bust part and then checked it. After checking, I am checking to make sure that everything is okay. So for this, you can use, depends on what you want. You understand? You do it to your own preferred, to your own desired result. So you can see what I'm trying to do. So I came down, then I curved it to the edge of my dress. That's just curve it to the edge that way. Okay, so after curving it now, I want to trim the back of my pattern. So you can see. So you can see the way I'm trying to trim it. So I'll just place it that way, and then I'll use it to trim it. I'll use it to trim it this way. So that's the zip allowance part. So at this point now, I'm just trying to curve it a little bit, and then I'll place it nicely like this. So I'm just trying. So the armhole area, you can see I'm trimming it also. And then this part also, I'll trim it this way. So after everything, I'll just trim it like this. And then I'm just trying to check to make sure that everything is okay. So that part again, just trim it. Let everything go in nicely. Okay. So after that, I'll place it on this is the back, my back pattern. I placed it on top of my lining. I'm trimming it. Let back and front lining be the same. So the next thing, after trimming, I'm going to sew everything and leave just that small tiny armhole area. That's, I'll sew it for, it's like a tube. So I'll just sew it for like that. And then after then, this is what I have. So after stitching everything, I have that just small opening. I'll open it, push it out from that point, and then I am going to take it back to my ironing table, and then I'll give it a good press. And then this is the front one. If you notice, for my front pattern, I did not cut the neckline part area. I did not open it. I just left it. I always like doing that. I prefer to use my machine to just give it a good trace. That makes it look good. So for this one also, I'm going to sew the down, sew the neck line, sew the side, that is, sew it this way, sew the down, and then sew this neckline, leave that small tiny armhole area. Please like this video, please, I would appreciate. So you can see after everything, this is how it looks like. The next thing, now let's mark our that's our zip part, so that's my zip allowance. So I want to close it so that we can join the back and the front together. So after joining it, you can see how beautiful the back looks like. It looks good. Yes, so the next thing, I'll take my front piece and then I'm going to place it like this. So you see how this bustier came out fine, even though I did not pad it much. So you see that opening at that down part. And then the next thing, I am going to just take my bust. So I'm going to just take it like this and then I'll mark it like this. I'll mark it and then mark it. Just use your measurement to like measure it like this. So after everything, this is how it looks like. It's fine, it's okay. So the next thing we are going to do now, I want to create out the strap and the sleeve. So for the strap, I'll just take a straight piece of paper. So I want to make that piece of, I want to make it the strap, I want it to be like 15. You understand? So I can mark it like 18, just for to make sure that I have extras. So that's it. So I'll just curve it, mark, fold it like this. So what I need now, place it here. I just want to use this as a guide. Can you see the way I folded the paper? The pattern paper is folded into four, and then I'm going to curve it out. So it depends on how wide I want my strap. So I want my strap to be like 2 inches, so I'll mark 2.5 inches. After marking it, I'll just curve it out this way. Just use the armhole to like give it a good trace. And then after that, and then I'll measure the length. So like I said I want like 7.5 inches. So on fold is going to be 15. That is on fold like this, 7.5. But when I open, it's going to be 15. But when you are cutting, cut extra. You understand? Add extra allowance to it. You don't want to cut it. If not, you are going to have issues. So this is what I have. I'll transfer that into my fabric. And then, so I'll just trying to check to make sure that it is okay. So this is how it's going to stay. Okay, so at that point now, I'll open that point because I want the strap to go into it. And then the back, I'm going to do the back a top stitch so that my client can adjust it in case it is too long or it's too short. So after everything, this is my strap. I've stitched it. So I have two of them. The next thing I am going to do now, I want to cut my cap sleeve. So this was the one I cut earlier just to give it a try. So it's a simple, very simple process. So I'll just fold my pattern paper into two like this, and then from that part is where the armhole is going to be. So from this part, I just want to measure. So first of all, measure how wide your round sleeve. So that's where you place your round sleeve. So for this, I want about 5'11", which is 5.5. So I'll mark it at that point, and then after marking it, from that point you check the length. And then on this side, I'm going to come to this side. I'll just create a curve. I came down by like 2 inches thereabout, and then from that point I'll just curve it like this. Okay, so that is basically what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create like a curve. So you can see, just follow the trace of my, can you see the way I curved it? So basically that's just what I need. And then check the wideness of your sleeve again. That's how wide you want that part to be. So that one was a little bit too wide, so I had to just trim it a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to do now, take this part, I'm going to plait this part like this. So make it, depends on how wide, so you can see. For this I use about 13 inches thereabout. So I'm going to just plait that part a little bit to make sure that it stays that way. So I'm just trying to check it to make sure that what I have is okay before I continue, before I proceed to cut. So when I checked it, it was okay. So this part is where I'm going to stitch it. Can you see? That's how it's going to look like at the end of the day. And then from that part, I'll still make sure, I'll just double check my round sleeve. That's the bicep area of the client. So this is my curve. This is my strap. So at this point, I'm just trying to reduce the strap. That I want to mark it. Okay, not reduce, sorry. I want to mark the center. So this is the cap sleeve after cutting and sewing and turning with my lining. And then at this point, I'll just mark this point. Okay. So like I said, please, if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please, I would appreciate you subscribe. So I came down by like 2 inches or 2.5 inches. I'm going to mark it. That's the part where I'm going to pleat. Okay. So the next thing now, I am just going to take it like this, and then I'll curve it in. Guys, I'll just split it in like that. So just split it along like that, on that line, on that point like that. So use your pin, just pin everything, make sure everything is well pinned like that. So after everything, you are going to take it like this, and then you are going to stitch it. Just stitch it down like this, okay? So after stitching, this is how it's going to look like. So after everything, this is how it looks like. So I'm just going to take the length. So now at this point, I want to mark that my 7.5 so that I will know where I'm going to stitch it down. So that's what I'm trying to do now. And then I'll check the other side also. I will mark it in also like that. So the next thing I'm going to, you remember that front part, like I said, I opened it up. I'll just push it in like this, and then from the side of my bust here, you can see the side is opened already. So I had to open the side, and then I'll pin it down because I'm going to pass my hand through from the inside and stitch it down. Okay, so when I do that for the back one, I'm just going to place it like this, and then I'll just give it a top stitch. So like I said, sorry, they'll be able to adjust it however they want. So at the end of the day, this is how it looks like. You see it. I'll place it on the mannequin now for you to see the final look of our off shoulder bustier top. So you can see it came out really fine. You can see what we have. So like I said, if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe. Thank you.